It's really good to see all of you here from my screen. Weird to be so remote, but great to say something about an effort that started roughly 7 years ago when we started the Learning Days in an effort to help build capacity in experimental social science research amongst principal investigators, be them researchers, academics, evaluators at civil society organizations and governments. And these great academics and evaluators that we've met all deal with important questions, both academically as well as for policy, but often may lack access to advanced level workshops on causal inference methods. So in addition, we saw a need to help create and help foster links between researchers and policymakers worldwide. And in response, we created the Learning Days. Next slide. Oh, you got it. Okay. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong screen. So these Learning Days have typically been a week long, and we're fortunate enough to have brought many of our EGAP colleagues to the workshops that we organized in various locations in Africa and the Latin American continent. This allowed for lots of interactions between the participants and the instructors, which is something greatly valued by our participants, to spend one-on-one time on your own research design questions. Now, all of these workshops were kindly hosted by EGAP institutional members, so partners at universities or civil society organizations. Now, the applicants apply with their own projects, often focusing on a political, institutional, economic, or social problem, but with a design that they can actually see being implemented. And then during the workshop, participants work to advance their knowledge on causal inference topics and help to improve their own lives. So then in the workshop, we go from learning about the theory of experiments and causal inference to its implications for the design choices that they make. For that, we use lectures on causality, randomization, measurement, threats to internal validity, focusing on power, etc. We bring our own design talks and that of others to the fore as examples of experimental social science research work. We have exercises on statistics, programming, and the main core concepts, but in addition, we spend lots and lots of time working together one-on-one with the participants to discuss, design, redesign, and improve their own projects. Next slide. And for that, we've greatly benefited from the time that was contributed by many of the instructors that we've listed here in the gallery of images. Those have included EGAP members, professors at various universities, as well as PhD students that came with us to help organize these workshops. They came from all across the world. They volunteered time and their expertise, helping to select the candidates, prepare lectures, and engage on site for typically a week. And over, I think, 20 instructors so far have been included, and many more have contributed with their knowledge, either through the EGAP methods guides or through creating slides with us and their wider energy in the EGAP trainings across the world. Special thanks here goes, of course, to the EGAP staff members who helped with the logistics, helped organize the workshops, and a special note to Matt Liziecki, who attended all the workshops, became a half instructor or full instructor almost himself, and helped manage all the logistics on the ground. Next slide. Now, it started with a small workshop in Sierra Leone, as I mentioned, about 7 years ago, and then moved on to Ghana, then Chile, Malawi, Guatemala. We even brought people together in Abu Dhabi from the African continent, with the Montevideo, Bogota, Cotonou, and the map shows with the stars the different places where the workshops have been held. And in all, 126 applicants to date have come to the workshops, coming from 26 different countries. We often have hundreds of applications for each time the workshop is organized. We can be very strong in the selection of who comes and who doesn't. And typically we select about 5 participants from the host country and have 10 fly-ins from across the continent to that place to participate. And of course, that is costly, and we're deeply grateful to the Hewlett Foundation that was allowing us to offer travel, accommodation, and meals to all those participants. Next slide. Now, some of our participants are current recipients of a grant that EGAP organized to work on COVID-19 related issues. In fact, about a third of those recent grantees are beneficiaries from former Learning Days. Examples include Esther Owelle, who I think I saw sign in, who joined us in Cotonou of the Learning Days in 2019, is working the effect of information on compliance of public health measures in response to the COVID-19 crisis in Kenya. A project in Mexico features Lucia Tiscornia, who went to the Bogota Learning Days of 2019 and working on criminal governance in the COVID-19 pandemic. Juan Carlos Rodriguez Raga came to the Montevideo workshop in 2018 and has a project called When Will the Vaccine Arrive? Thinking about expectations and misinformation over COVID-19 vaccines and social media in Colombia. It's also great to note that some former participants went on to do PhDs in the US or in Europe. And one example to share is Jose David Lopez Rivas, who came to the Chile workshop with a research design, which he then workshopped and redesigned throughout that week, then used to apply for funds for his own fieldwork, implement the market paper. He was recently hired as a postdoc at Wageningen University in the Netherlands. Another example is a collaboration of Cecilia Rossell, who worked with Ana de la O, one of the instructors in the Chile workshop, and just completed a paper on income shocks and the state in Latin America, which was presented at a Congress of the Latin American Studies Association. And some of the former participants in the Learning Days have now become members of the EGAP network.